File, the horror file over here, coming back at you again for another review. Doing another Artsploitation review. This movie I just got today in the mail from the nice people over at Artsploitation. Thought I'd go ahead and watch it and throw up a review. I've heard really good things about it, so I kind of wanted to check it out, do a review on it, and let you guys know what I thought. This movie is a 2014 horror, can be considered a slasher movie. If you can't tell already, it's called Cub. This movie is directed by Jonas Gevaerts. I can't really pronounce his last name. Gevaerts, I believe is his last name, so Jonas Gevaerts. And a little interesting fact about this movie is, like I said, it was created in 2014. It was directed in 2014. Some of the funds for this movie were actually partially donated through Indiegogo. And if you guys aren't familiar with Indiegogo, it's a website that you could, crowdfund basically projects. So like movies, music CDs, like if a band's come out with a CD, you can crowdfund that. Pretty much anything that, you can donate to somebody that's having surgery. So Indiegogo is a pretty cool website, but this movie was partially funded by that. This is actually a movie from Belgium. It's a French movie with subtitles. I did just watch this. I just got done with this movie about an hour ago. I watched all the special features and everything, the extras on the movie. Very, very cool, cool movie. That's the cover right there. I don't know if this has reversible cover art or not. It doesn't look like it does. Something cool that Artsploitation, or they're actually doing, is they're sending this to a lot of the people that, or pretty much everybody that's going to buy the movie, is an actual Cub Scout badge. I don't know if you can see that. So it's an actual Cub badge. I thought that was really, really neat. Like, they sent this to me. They were awesome enough to send this to me, and they sent me the badge with it, which is, an actual Cub Scout badge that you can actually, put on your, if you wanted to put it on your uniform or whatever. But yeah, kind of get into the movie. This movie is, it follows a kid, basically. His name's Sam. This is the kid you see on the screen. It's the kid on the front cover there, which you can actually, I'll zoom in. It's this kid right here, Sam. Follows him. He's a 12-year-old Cub Scout. He's actually bullied. He's kind of the protagonist. He's definitely the protagonist in this movie. He's bullied by a lot of the Cub Scout members very harshly, and he's bullied by one of the Cub Scout leaders. There's two leaders in this movie. There's a guy with a man bun, which was kind of, you see the guy. He's got like a small, like this long ponytail. But there's two leaders. There's him, and then there's another leader who's actually a really kind of nice leader. He tries to take up for Sam a lot. And Sam gets bullied a lot by the kids. Like, they don't believe anything he says. They kind of beat up on him. He doesn't really have any friends. They pretend to be his friend, and they're not. And then by the Cub Scout leader, which the Cub Scout leader actually has a dog that really doesn't like Sam either, which is kind of weird. But pretty much the storyline of this movie is there's a campfire story about a urban legend or a myth named Kai, which is basically a kid that lives in the forest that turns into a werewolf at night. And whenever he turns into a werewolf, if he bites you, you turn into a werewolf. Kind of like, a typical werewolf story. But, the two pack leaders tell the kids this before they go on a camping trip. They're like, we're about to head on this camping trip, but, I want to let you guys know, that the Kai may be in the forest, and if he bites you, you may turn into a werewolf, and there's been a lot of people disappearing, and the only way we're able to actually go here was we had to ask the police, and the police, said that we can go at our own risk. Do you guys want to go? And of course, all the little kids are like 8, 9 years old. They're like, yeah, let's go. So they head into the forest. The movie starts out, they head into the forest. They're all in this big bus. They get up to the campsite. There's these two, like, kind of jerk French guys with tracksuits on, and they're like driving around with this go-kart on their campsite, but they won't leave, and they're just trying to fight the pack leaders and stuff. And so they keep driving through the forest. The pack leaders keep driving through. They're trying to find another campsite. They're like, the hell with this. I'm not going to fight these guys over this campsite. They find another campsite, and they spend the night there. They start staying there. That campsite seems fine, it's not a big deal. But then Sam starts to see Kai, and he starts telling the pack leaders and telling the kids. Kids don't believe him. The pack leaders are like, what are you talking about? They think they made this up. And, the kids don't, start beating up on him and not believing him. Yeah, so pretty much This movie has a really, really straightforward concept. It's pretty much like that throughout the whole movie, where the kids are bullying on Kai, and they don't believe him, or not Kai, but Sam, and about because Sam's seeing Kai, and they don't believe him, and they're bullying on Sam, and they're beating him up. Sam keeps seeing Kai, and then Kai starts, they actually meet, like Sam and Kai meet, and like Kai is like trying to be cool with Sam, and try to teach him some ways and stuff like that. And Sam's like, since he's being bullied, he's like, you know what, the hell with it. I'll be cool with this guy, this weird kid. The movie kind of goes on like that. It's really hard not to spoil this movie, but you end up, there's a lot of twists and turns in this movie. There's a lot of things that end up happening that I didn't go into this movie thinking were going to happen, which I love, stuff like that, which a lot of Artsploitation releases are like that. I would say, this movie has definitely got horror elements to it. I mean, there's a lot of scenes in this movie that are creepy, a lot of messed up, weird scenes. It has a very cool plot twist to it. I really enjoyed the plot twist. If I was to rate this movie, I would probably give this movie about 8.5 out of 10. Maybe almost 9 out of 10, I would say. I really, really enjoyed this movie. I started watching it, and the plot is so easy to follow that like 3 or 4 people came over to my house, and they were like, "What are you watching?" And I kind of, summed it up for them in a minute, and they were like, "Oh, that's cool," and we finished the movie together, and they really enjoyed it too. It's a really easy movie to follow. You can honestly start the movie in the middle of the movie and just kind of pick up, where, what's going on with it without even having to worry about what happened before. The plot isn't very, in-depth or anything. It is somewhat in-depth, but it's not like, there's not a whole lot of detail to it, because you can pretty much have somebody sum it up for you in a minute or two if you haven't seen, if you're like halfway through it already. I would say that, 8.5 out of 10, or 8.5, 9 out of 10, somewhere in there. It does have some really, really cool death scenes in it. There was a scene, I'm not going to give away all of them, obviously, but there was a scene in this movie where one of the counselors has there's a trap. So you find out this like plot twist, and then there's all these traps, and the camp counselors are trying to figure out what's going on. And this tree that's like rigged, it's already cut, and it's like got like a hinge on it, falls on top of this camp counselor and like crushes his legs. And it's really, really neat. The visual effects in this are very, very well done. It's hard to tell if they were even visual effects. They may even be just, CGI, but I can't tell because they're so well done. But I would recommend checking this out. The street date for this is August the 18th, I believe. This is released by, like I said, Artsploitation. The only downside to this movie that I really could tell you guys about that I really did not enjoy was it was at the beginning of the movie, it was a slow burner. It took a while to get to the point. Like, there was a lot of, pre-plot to this movie, a lot of stuff going on before we got to the actual plot of this movie. And there was a lot of stuff that was kind of unsaid in the movie. Like, there was a lot of things that probably could have happened but didn't. Also, the cover art of this movie. I know a lot of people had a problem with this. I do not like this cover art whatsoever. That's like the worst cover art for this movie, because if you actually look up online, there's posters and stuff for this movie that look like amazing. Like some of the posters and the theatrical posters and stuff like that look awesome. Like, whoever did them look awesome. But they ended up going, I don't know if it was just Artsploitation's release that went with this, but this was the only downside of this movie. Like, well, not the only, but this was a huge downside for me, because I'm like a really big person on cover art. I love showing off my movies. I love, showing off, very good movies especially. I feel like this movie deserved a better cover than this. I feel at least that this movie probably should have had reversible cover art, in which I'm looking now, and it doesn't. I think reversible cover art would have been really cool on this movie. Another plus side to this, like I showed you guys before, is it comes with a little patch, which I think is really freaking awesome. I really think that's awesome. Like, I was actually a Boy Scout, Cub Scout as well, and I think something like that's like really, really cool, especially with this movie, because it's a really, really well done movie. Directed very well, visually very well. Definitely deserved 8.5 or 9 out of 10. It's one of the better movies I've actually watched from Artsploitation. I mean, I've seen a lot of their movies. The Treatment was probably the best one I've seen. Cub is up there with it. But I highly recommend checking it out, guys. It should come out August 18th, 2015, by Artsploitation. Check it out. You can go to artsploitation.com, pick it up. And if you guys like this review, definitely give me a thumbs up, share the video. Leave me some comments what you thought about Cub. I'd like to know, what everybody thought about it. I'm sure I'll be seeing a lot of reviews on it soon. And subscribe if you're not subscribed. Until next time, peace. See ya.